Okay, palms up by your side. So palms up by your side, knees on the board. Now we put the board under the knees just to give them some feedback. Some people may not be able to get extension. Some people may have really hypertrophy calves or quads where their knee may not be able to touch the ground. So we're just giving them that little feedback so they have something to feel down here. Feet together, toes up. Okay? Now we find the ASIs, or the bony part of the pelvis, right here in front. Okay? The middle of the knee. So I just eyeball the middle of the knee. Now I drop my stick halfway between the two. Now some people has measured it. Some people say, yeah, we measure it. We want to get an exact science or exact measurement. You know what? I did a little pilot study of my own one time with some people, and we found by measuring it and by dropping the stick, it was the same. No difference in one way or the other. So you can just eyeball it, drop the stick halfway. So this is my halfway point. Now, this test seems easy to score, but you got to look at a couple things here. Okay? It's not all about the moving, the leg going up. It's just as much about the leg staying down. And when I get into the correctives for this tomorrow, this is probably one of the better tests that gives you a better. This is probably one of the best tests that gives you a good representation of what we were doing with the moving string. Now, let me try to make that. I know that didn't make sense. Let me try to make it make sense. Okay. If you score poor on this, you are more likely to score poor on the rest of the test. Okay? That's what it's telling us. And because of what we're looking for sequencing here. I'm looking for it. Now I'm saying it, so Greg's going to do it, but normally I wouldn't say it. I'm looking for Greg to engage his core first. Set the pelvis. Now when he sets the pelvis, it allows better hip mobility or hip flexion. Because what stops most people from flexing their leg up? They say their hamstrings are tight. It's the hamstrings are tight, or their core didn't engage to set the pelvis. Because their hip flexor on this side is overactive. Okay? Because the pelvis doesn't get set, what happens to it? When they flex, it anti-rotates. When you anti-rotate your pelvis, what happens to the hamstrings? They get elongated. And now you're asking to flex your hip, you're lengthening the hamstrings. But if you set your core first and set your pelvis, and don't let it anti-rotate, you shorten the hamstrings. And that's what we're testing here. Greg's ability to automatically engage and set everything, then flex. Okay? And it's not just about flexion, it's about his ability to do what? Keep this hip in extension. That's the other thing we're looking for. So, with this test, I'm going to drop my stick again. Got it. Is that right? Alright, so right there, halfway. Now, both feet turned up, both hips neutral, meaning I don't want this foot to turn out like that. So as soon as I see this foot turning out, I'm going to stop this leg from coming up. Okay? So I'm going to get Greg to raise his left leg nice and easy. Stop. And I'm going to drop the stick. You don't have to drop the stick down. Let me talk about that for a second, because that really confuses people. And I think it's partly because how I wrote it up in the book. The stick's irrelevant. The stick just helps you. You're looking to see where this malleolus, the ankle bone here, is in relation to the bottom leg. That's all you're looking for. Okay? You can throw the stick away and use your foot. Use my hand. It doesn't matter. Okay? The stick just makes it easy. So I don't want the stick to be confusing, because some people say, well, where do I move the stick? You don't need to move the stick. You're just looking to see where in relation to this leg is his malleolus or is his ankle bone. Okay? Now, so if his ankle bone, malleolus, goes on this side of the stick, or halfway point between the knee and the pelvis, that's a 3. If it's between this and the knee, that's a 2. And if it doesn't get past the knee, that's a 1, or the midpoint of the knee. All right, so let's see it do one more time. All right, go back down. That's a little too fast. Again, keep that foot toe straight. Don't let that toe move. As soon as this toe moves, I'll stop it. So if he goes up really fast one time, don't count it. Give another rep. Nice and easy. Every test, you're trying to get him to go it nice and easy. Okay? Do it again. Stop. So right there, that's actually what I'm looking for right there. So he's a 1. Let's do it one more time. Stop. It's right there. So I'm looking at this leg moving. Because when this leg flexes, this leg wants to externally rotate. Now why does it want to do that? Because when this leg externally rotates, what happens to this muscle? It gets loose. Okay? So he's a 1 on the left, the moving leg. Now let's do the right. You don't have to go to the other side. You can stay on the same side. Let's do it again. Stop. I think I called this. Let's see you go bad on the leg raise. Come on again. You're a runner? Cyclist and runner, yeah. One more time. Stop. So, what is that? I'm going to give him a 1. From your vantage point, you can't see it. He's right on it. If he's right on it, I'll go left. He's a 1 on the right,